I manage quite a big company, about 500 people and about 40 managers, and we're obviously very busy. And the first thing we did with Steve was to sit down and figure out exactly what we wanted to do. So we were working with the leaders, trying to get closer together, trying to get on the same page with the challenges that the business faced. And Steve and I spent probably an hour and a half, a few weeks before the session, getting really clear on what our outcomes were, how we'd use a novel way of bridging any gap between the various groups and factions within the leadership team. So that's what we wanted to get out of it: a good tight group, very aligned with our goals, a group that can work together, surface any issues and understand what we need to work on with our leadership.
They facilitated our senior leadership team, and it was a very important session where we all recognised the strengths and what we've contributed to a team as a whole. And what they did for me was really break down the barriers between the different senior leaders on site. And it's probably one of the first times that we really spent time to acknowledge each other and sing each other's praises. And they did a lot for our psychological safety and improving our teamwork.
By listening to the others within the team who expressed their view about where they wanted to get to and how I could help them get there as part of the partnership. So it was really about taking that functional hat off and focusing on trying to build robust relationships within the team and listen to others' needs and try to address them whenever possible.
I actually felt quite excited coming out of the planning session that we did. Felt like that we were getting into some areas where we wouldn't normally have got. And I was hoping to bring some of that excitement into the main session there. So I guess the hour and a half that we spent via phone, email and a face-to-face meeting, to me, was really well spent. Steve was able to carry that feeling that I had in my head about how I wanted this done and what I thought success would look like, and deliver a really good session. So it helped me keep my energy levels up, not having to go through tedious detail of the ins and outs of how you plan all these sessions. So I thank him for that. We were able to bring a new vulnerability and a new energy into that meeting with that full team of leaders.
What I'm seeing now is people are less functionally driven, more driven towards a common goal, which has helped us to achieve our objectives because we're all sort of, if you like, swimming in the same direction.
What are we feeling differently or hearing differently now on site? There's much better alignment and common messaging behind our goals. I think we're watching out and looking out for each other a lot more than we were before. We were very focused on the tactical day-to-day. The workshop has allowed us to step back, be more strategic and really work on how we want to show up and do the job that we do every day.
We probably thought of things that we didn't think were possible before or were kind of not our priorities, and we thought, well, maybe we really need to rescope them and think about doing them a little differently. And I think now we're actually seeing the fruits of our input because some of those things that we never thought were possible were actually coming to fruition.
We got a sense of urgency behind our goals for 2020 and how we wanted to deliver those. So not necessarily about the what, but really talked and delved into the how. One of the interesting exercises was that we used metaphors of animals for what our team was now towards what our team would like to be in the future and what traits those animals would be. The other thing we got from the workshop was we involved the wider leadership community for our site, which is fantastic to break down the barriers between the different structural layers within our organisation, be very open and involve them at the start of the development of some of our leadership programs and leadership visions for 2020. We've definitely got an increase in psychological safety within our tight leadership team. That's helping us to brainstorm and be clearer on our ideas, which will obviously drive innovation. And the other thing is we've built a larger community of leadership across our site where we've involved a wider group of our leaders. I think what's possible for us now that maybe wasn't possible before is we've mobilised a larger group of leaders on site. We've got we've got 9 people in our immediate exec leadership team. We've now mobilised 20 or 30 leaders on site with common messaging and I think that'll help us into the future be much better at achieving our goals. We've been able to focus for effect and really simplify our messaging, which will cut through for our wider team.
We surveyed our leaders, and a very, very good response from the leaders on the session. Recognised it as a new way of doing what we've been doing in the past, and something that was fresh and different, which was important for us. It gives me hope that we can get some, sustainable change in the business, which is always what you're looking for with these sorts of sessions. It's so valuable to get the time together for a couple of days. We really didn't want to waste it, and I don't think we did.